Welcome to the Path Podcast, where we will travel the lives of some bold women, from dreams to detours to destiny. She did not choose this path. This path chose her. This is the Path Podcast. Welcome back, Path listeners, to another episode of the Path Podcast with your sister, your motivator, your confidence builder, the one who believes that purpose is bigger than obstacles. Yes, it's you and I again coming in to do a solo episode. Trust me, next week and the week after, we have some amazing guests coming on. But today is you and I, because it's a new year. Some of us made New Year's resolutions. I tried not to do that, but I tried to be very intentional about some of my goals and the things I want to do. And in order to accomplish a lot of these goals, some of these things seem like they're bigger than what I ever thought I could do or would want to do. And sometimes we have to look at things. In my faith, I have to rely on God, because some of these things are bigger than I am. And so in saying that, it takes a healthy dose of confidence and a healthy dose of self-esteem to do some of the things I'm called to do. And I'm sure some of the things that you are called to do. Ladies, we can look at everybody else out there that's already accomplished and doing some great things, but I'm sure they all had to have had these conversations with themselves. So I'm asking you today, we're asking the question, are you confusing self-confidence with self-esteem? And do you know the difference and how they can affect you? How can they affect you to do the things that you know in your heart of hearts that you are called to do? It's that thing that keeps burning inside that you can't let go. You know you're not happy on that job. I didn't say leave it, but side hustle on the side until you get that business up to a place. Some of you are entrepreneurs out there. You're entrepreneurs, but you still are struggling with some things. Today, we're going to answer some of these questions and or give you some of the things to look at so you can work on some of these things. So you can move into that place you're supposed to be, so you can start living and stop just existing in this world. Sometimes, I'm not saying everybody has to start a business, but if you're there and you should be writing a book. If you're there and you should be applying for a job that you know you are overqualified for, but it's a stepping stone into the place where you know you want to be. Apply for the job. But if you have some self-confidence concerns or some self-esteem concerns, this is the podcast and the episode for you. We will point out how you can start working to overcome these feelings if you are struggling with it today. And why this topic again, I said, because I want you to start being free to be who you are. Your authentic self is what we've been talking about. To take the risks and also accept your flaws. And accept the flaws or the lack of experience you have in some things. So we're going to dig into this right now. Let's first talk about what is self-esteem versus what is self-confidence. Self-esteem refers to whether you appreciate and value yourself. Your self-esteem develops and changes as a result of your life experiences, interactions with other people. If you look at the definition of esteem, it means to respect and admire. Now, self-confidence, on the other hand, self-confidence is your belief in yourself and your abilities. This can change depending on the situation. It's normal to feel quite confident in some circumstances and less confident in others. Now, the definition of confidence, it gave 3 different definitions that kind of intertwine. It says a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities, or the state of feeling certain about the truth of something, or the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. It's a firm trust. Now, a healthy sense of self-esteem is necessary to also have self-confidence, to meet challenges and to participate in things you find enjoyable and rewarding. Let's start out with self-esteem. The term self-esteem, it is, again, like I said, confused with self-confidence. With all the definitions I've given you, self-esteem really refers to the belief you have in your overall worth. Your self-esteem is influenced by your self-confidence, your identity, and your sense of belonging. It can be high, low, or somewhere in between. And if your self-esteem is low, wow, that's when that critical internal voice always pops up. It expresses itself very loud, trust me, when we're feeling any type of low self-esteem. And when that happens, we know we can experience feelings of sadness, anxiety, and sometimes anger, I've read. Believing that inner voice can cause you to think negative things about yourself, make you believe that your negative thoughts are always true about yourself. And it makes you, this is the one thing, it makes you ignore your strengths and abilities. You cannot sit there and tell me there is not some things that you're good at. But that inner voice that's negative will always point out the flaws and the small things that you did not get right, just because maybe you needed to get more experience in it and or learn to do it a different way. It doesn't mean you can't do it. I read a quote that said, "When someone tells me no, it doesn't mean I can't do it. It simply means I can't do it with them or with that company." It is okay. It's just the way you look at things sometimes. You have to be able to look at things that is not a negative towards you, the person. Sometimes it's just a growing thing. Sometimes it's just that, no, you should not be there at that company or with that person. So you look at it and you turn those negative thoughts into something different. Do not internalize it to mean I'm not good enough. Having low self-esteem also makes you expect the worst. It makes you avoid challenges or situations where you feel you could be judged by others and that you think that you don't deserve to have pleasure or fun. Ladies, if any one of these things resonate with you, today is again the day I always say it's time to really assess where you are. Because if you have something burning inside of you that's that's calling you to do something more, but these negative voices or the inner critic keeps popping up, it's time for you to do something about that. Time to start working on that and start writing down the positive things you know about yourself. And if you struggle that much to find that one thing, that's when I will always urge you to get somebody who is a positive person around you. If some of these things creep up because of something that was said to you when you were younger, said by a parent, aunt, cousin, somebody whose unsolicited opinion was given to you, work on that and change that into the positive things you know about yourself. And if you don't, find a life coach or a therapist who can help you walk through this life. I'm a life coach and I am always willing to help motivate, help you build that confidence, because that is in my opening. I have always been this person who tried to see the lighter side of life, even when things didn't go right, even through some of the pain. I've always been that person who tried my best to find positive things. That doesn't mean I didn't hurt. That doesn't mean I didn't question some things about myself. But what I have learned to do is when I've questioned it, I had to learn if it's something I need to grow from, get more experience in, or just let that go because that's not for me. That's the things you have to start doing. Build yourself up. You have to put some positive affirmations around you. I'm already going into some of the things you do to change and improve the inner critic that you may have with dealing with low self-esteem. But start there. And when you start there, you're getting to know yourself better. You're getting, again, to admit that mistakes are a part of learning. You will identify ways you may be able to solve problems differently so you can change the outcome. And you will be critical of your behavior without being critical of yourself. Like when I sit back and look at some of the things I know I had to work on, remember I've told you, and I've never really gone into this story, I was laid off 3 times in 4 years. The one thing I came from all 3 of those layoffs is that it was no reflection on Arlene, the person who was employed at the companies. It came from other things. Now, was I a perfect employee? No, I doubt it. But I know I was good at what I did. Now, you can call that's not arrogant, that's self-confidence. I knew I did my job to top-notch work. I was overqualified in some of the things I was doing. But I was able to really assess all of that because it makes you question your worth. It makes you question, why did they not keep me? But when I look at my reviews and I know I did everything I was supposed to do, and I look at what they said, I know it had nothing personally an attack on Arlene. No matter what they felt themselves, that was their opinion. But I know I did those jobs with quality work, and I am confident in saying I did top-notch work, and it was their loss. As you see, ladies, you have to reprogram your thinking, the way you think and the things you say to yourself. And becoming and building that self-esteem will help you be more assertive when you have to do certain things. If you have to put notes up on your bathroom window mirror, put them up there. Put them in your phone and have it pop you every morning with something positive that you know about yourself. I can tell you some of the things I don't do as well as other people. And you know what? That's okay. That's not my lane. I can't do everything perfect. But you know what? The things that I can, I concentrate on those things, and I'm working to build myself to even do them better, because we never stop growing. I want you to always get that. I don't care what. If you reach a goal that you set, then it's time to set a new goal. A goal higher than that one, because you've mastered that one. So now you can take it to another level. So never stop growing, no matter what your age is. Now let's look at self-confidence. We already said that confidence is that feeling, a belief in yourself and your abilities. But let me ask you a question. If you look at it that way, what happens if you build that self-confidence in your job, in the money you make? And ladies, in a relationship, wow, what happens if one of those things cease to exist? How will you overcome that relationship ending, that job ending, and or the money you're making if it's been reduced? How do you deal with that without losing the self-confidence that you know you have internally? Our self-confidence should never be built on what we have, but it should always go back into the belief in yourself. Because if you had got that job before, you can get another one. If you had a relationship, hopefully if it was good, it might not have ended. But, things end for other reasons. But maybe then you'll know you have the ability to find a better relationship, a new relationship. And the same thing when it comes to making the money. If you made the money before, you can do it again. That doesn't change the confidence you have in your abilities to make any one of those things happen. There's a quote I read that says, confidence is not, will they like me? Confidence is, I'll be fine if they don't. And another great quote I read is, confidence is like showing up in every single moment like you're meant to be there. I'm sorry, I meant to find out who, I didn't write in my notes the authors of each quote, but they're not mine. So I'm not taking credit for those. But I love those quotes when it comes to self-confidence. Self-confidence is an awareness that you are human, fallible, and that you can even laugh at yourself when you don't reach the goal you've set or others have set for you. Self-confidence is feeling okay about yourself in the face of success and struggle. Self-confidence is self-esteem plus self-love. And ladies, although self-love plays a part and is different from self-esteem and self-confidence, I deliberately didn't talk about that topic because next week, don't miss it, I have a powerful guest coming on. She has a journal called Steps to to Self-Love with Trinette L. Collier, the inspirationalist. She's a relationship coach and has several podcasts that we're going to talk about. So don't miss episode 50. Make sure you click and subscribe so you don't miss that episode. So if self-confidence is self-esteem plus self-love, if you allow or suffer from a lack of confidence, then there's no action. Ladies, we've been there before where we just sit back and do nothing because we have this doubt in our mind. They said it's called crippling doubt that can impair efforts before the action begins or while it's ongoing. If you believe you can get the dream job again, like I've said earlier, apply for the job. There's a chance, however small, you might get it. If you don't believe that you can get it and you don't apply, it's a guarantee that you won't. Self-confidence doesn't magically make you better at what you do, but it does prime you to take the risks necessary to achieve your goals. Now, what are some of the benefits of building our self-confidence? And again, like I said, if you need help in this area, because sometimes you can have great self-esteem and your confidence in some things may not be strong, or vice versa. If you feel like you need someone to help you walk that journey, consider getting a life coach. Consider connecting with me and or getting a therapist who can help you walk through things that maybe stems from something on a deeper level, and they can help you walk through why you see yourself that way, or you doubt yourself so much, and if you need to work on things that is much deeper than just figuring out life skills. So let's talk about how you can truly build that self-confidence, what it can lead to if you start to work on it. Of course, we know it can lead to happiness and being more positive, and you can have a resilience when it comes to life. And as you build on all of these things, you will start to take more risks. You will go out and write that book that you know that you've been longing to write. You will start the blog that you know you're a great writer. Write. Sometimes I wish I could get somebody over here to write my stuff for me because that's not my strongest suit. But hey, I do the best I can. And what I can, I rely on God to do the rest. He perfects it for me, as Pastor G of PowerPoint Christian Ministries has said in her Bible studies. Check her out if you haven't done so already. She gives a great life Bible study that we, so many of us enjoy. So how can you improve your self-confidence starting today? It's a matter of changing the beliefs you feel about yourself. It's going to take some work, but stop with the negative chatter to yourself saying, I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough. You need to start being honest with yourself. If someone asks you, what do you do for a living? And if you're an entrepreneur and you're just starting out, and if you're biting your tongue and you're trying to explain what you do, then maybe you have some sense of insecurities about what you're doing. You have to build that confidence up. Work with somebody and so you can, it's almost like that elevator pitch. I'm an entrepreneur. I work with women who are trying to overcome obstacles in their lives. I'm here to motivate, encourage them, and I'm here to speak at any organization where women are looking to grow in their self-worth, in their confidence, and motivate them to be who they were called to be. I also love helping to show women that you can overcome obstacles and how you're not to count all obstacles as a loss. A lot of obstacles come in our lives to help us grow, and they put us on a new path that we never knew we needed to be on. Child, sometimes you got to be so confident that you shock yourself. And then even if they sit there and look at you, a lot of people are more drawn to a person when they speak with confidence. And it doesn't mean you have to share every part of your life or everything that you do. Just speak the one or two things that you choose to share with people as you build your business. Some other ways that you can improve your self-confidence is start working out. A lot of us, we know, if we're not where we want to be, working out is a sure way of building that self-confidence for us to look a certain way. If we have to stand in front of people, if we have to go certain places, it helps build our confidence. And also it's a huge boost to our health and our overall stamina for some of us to do the things that we're called to do. We can't be tired and drawn out trying to go minister to people, speak to people, sit and write, or get in a quiet place to write that blog or that book that you know you're called to do. Or for those positions, some of those positions that we know we want, some of those positions are calling for 60, 70-hour work days. And sometimes you need that stamina to help you. And if you like me, it can get back into some jeans that you keep holding on because they're your favorite. That's a win-win for everybody. I just want to point out a few other ways that we can practice self-confidence or improve our self-confidence. We have to defy, the imposter syndrome. We continuously have to talk about that one. And comparing yourself, that will never set you up for anything positive in your life if we continue to do that. You have to set realistic goals, be kind to yourself, and face your fears. Another great tip to building self-confidence is knowing when to say no and surrounding yourself with positive people. Well, Path listeners, as we get ready to wrap up the show, I want to end the show stating that if you intentionally work on your self-esteem and your self-confidence, you will regain charge of your happiness. You won't rely on external events and circumstances and what people say dictate your peace and your joy. Having a sense of happiness and peace and joy isn't about having all the pieces in place. It isn't about having a problem-free life or reaching a certain goal or objective. Instead, it's about being able to enjoy where you are no matter what. Don't leave your happiness to chance. Choose to claim it, live the life you deserve to live, and work on the things that you know that you need to work on to get to this place. We invest in everything else. It's time for you to invest in yourself. You are so deserving of it. And for our moms out here and our wives, if you don't have children, we take care of everybody else. It's time for you to take care of self. Celebrate your achievements as you practice building your self-esteem and self-confidence. Make time to treat yourself with experiences and activities you value. You will see your family doesn't mind doing what you love doing, but make sure you reward yourself. You deserve it, my sister. Ladies, until next time, I'm looking forward to everybody out there walking in their purpose and in their callings, because you have something in you. You have something that only you can do and that you're called to do. It's time for you to start walking in that bold confidence and building that self-esteem so you can be called to do the things that you were called to do for the people that you were called to do. Ladies, again, I'm looking forward to this year. I'm bringing on some bold women doing some amazing things in life. We're going to be building the positivity, the confidence, and letting you see how we all walk this journey called life. We walk this path called life and how we do it. So let us be your survival guide if you're trying to get to that place. We're not perfect. We don't claim to be perfect, but we are your sisters, and we want to see you succeed and grow in life and be successful in all that you're called to do, professionally, personally, in everything you're called to do. Because what I love to say on the Path Podcast, my crown is not complete until every woman wears her crown proudly. Until next time, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for hanging with us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and other platforms, so you can stay up on our bi-weekly, real conversations with these bold women. You can follow the Path Podcast on Facebook at the Path Podcast and on Instagram and Twitter at the Path_podcast. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or have questions for a future show, you can email us at thepath4ward@gmail.com. That's thepathforward@gmail.com. And if you're looking for a speaker or you're in need of a life coach, please reach out to me. Again, at thepathforward@gmail.com or at ACKORLEH@gmail.com. Thank you. Until next time.